Carey, the head coach of the Braves. I'm Rob Young on the IHTN Sports Network. Tony, another season. This will be your fifth season. Mm-hmm. You've got a great record as a head coach here at Indian Hill. Obviously, your best season was in 2015 when you went 11-1, ran the board. Got a tough schedule ahead of you, coming right out of the chutes. Let's talk a little bit about last year. You guys ended 9-3, a little bit of a sour ending in the playoffs against Wyoming. Sure. But you had a lot of players that were banged up by that time of the season.
Yeah, Rob, I mean, I think that's the case, with a lot of people. You get to November and you have to be able to, deal with the war of attrition, the war of injuries. I think the good news is with this year's squad, given that this is our fifth year here as a staff, there's more depth than there ever has been at key positions. And we've discussed the fact that, when you get to November, you have to have that because injuries are part of the game. Being banged up is part of the game. So I feel very good, from that standpoint, with the depth issue that we've had, perhaps the best since we've been here from a numbers standpoint.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're coming into this season. Obviously, we're starting with New Richmond. We'll talk a little bit about that. But you've got 7 returning starters on offense, 8 on defense. Mm-hmm. There's probably a few other guys in there that could technically be considered starters if you counted special teams. Absolutely. Like Luke Lomberg as a kicker, which is going to be critical. Who knows how long that's going to last on kickoffs. But, you've got 2 big seniors coming back on your line in Jalen Thornton and Joe Oakes. Both are considered top prospects. Both have committed to D1 programs. Mm-hmm. Jalen obviously going to his father's alma mater, cut from good cloth, as we would say. Yep. And then Joe Oakes going to OU. I've already given Pat a little bit of a hard time. I'm a UC alumni, so seeing Joe go to OU was not a fun thing for me. But both great young men, great players, athletic, fast. Even though they both tipped the scale at over 250. Right.
But when we started this segment about November football, and one of the things that we certainly have realized over the past few years is that to win at a high level, you have to be able to run the football and you have to be able to stop the run. With Jack Henkin coming back as a 3-year starter on that defensive line as well, to really, the pieces are in place to have a dominant defensive line, Jalen and Joe being, the big part of that.
Yeah, and obviously you've got Cole Dean returning, led the CHL in yardage, pass yardage last year, 22 touchdown passes. What he didn't have last year was a strong backfield, and you're bringing 2 big, strong running backs, and John Mark and Demetrius.
Right. We're very blessed in that respect, and we can't, as a coaching staff, underestimate the power and the athleticism that those 2 guys can bring to the table. I think Cole will continue to do great things, but I think in some respect, hopefully those things are a little bit easier, a little bit more buffered by a strong offensive line and then 2 phenomenal running backs. Some teams are lucky to have 1 marquee running back. I really do believe this year we're blessed to have 2.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at films from last year, where Cole struggled a little was when he was flushed out of the pocket. Sure. He's not a running back. This will allow him really to be that pocket quarterback that he's probably more suited for, and have some, you bring junior Trey Lopez into the mix, who's quick, fast, can turn a screen pass and quickly into a 60-yard touchdown run.
Correct. And I think you're dead on there. Certainly, I don't think that has to be the case this year. There are plenty of guys all around when you talk about John Mark, Demetrius, Trey Lopez, Luke Hammond, who has really come on as a sophomore. Charlie DeGennaro, who's really come on as a sophomore. There are guys there that can shoulder a lot of that load, and we don't have to have any one individual win us a football game. And quite honestly, it is no secret. Someone will have to emerge as that vertical guy. Now there are plenty of candidates, and some of them I mentioned, but somebody will have to surface and fill in that role, definitely.
So what do you see happening in that new Richmond game?
Well, I think, they're what they have been. They are offensively led by a very electric playmaker who we've dealt with now for 3 years in Josh Anderson. And so, we're prepared. He makes the system go as we always have been prepared. It is so hard, as you mentioned, to gauge an opponent, particularly in week one.
Yeah.
You have so few elements to go by. Obviously we have a scrimmage, and then we have the Marymount scrimmage as well, and it's just so hard to gauge. Is it the other opponent's, perhaps struggling, or is it the other opponent holding things back because it is a scrimmage? It's well into week 3 before you can really use film sometimes as a definitive indicator of where a team is. So we've got to be prepared for anything. The beauty of that is so do they. I think defensively, they're a 3-3 stacked team, which they have been for the 5 years that I've been here. They don't give you a whole lot of different looks, so you kind of know what you're getting and you just line up and play football. I think it's going to be a good one. I think as most times when teams are close in ability and skill, it's going to come down to execution and turnovers, and it always does. So.
It'll be fun to watch this team this year. We start off with New Richmond, a non-league game, then you have 2 more non-league games, one against CHCA,
Right.
and then one against Aiken. Both of those are kind of unusual games. CHCA is not the same program that it was maybe 3 years ago.
Correct.
But they're always going to be a competitive bunch.
Absolutely. Yeah, CHCA, I think is a team that would do well in our league. I think playing in the league in which they play, sometimes they don't see the competition that, frankly, I think they'd like to see. They don't. They're not dodging anybody. I mean, they're playing us in week 2. They're playing Wyoming in week 3. It's that too will be a very good game, and it's a big playoff point earner. We fell to them last year in the 4th quarter. And we've got something to prove in that one, that's for sure.
Who do you see in the league as the dark horse this year? Because there's been a lot of coaching turnover.
Absolutely. Funny that you mentioned that. Usually at the beginning of the season, before 2 days begin, I text all the CHL coaches, just, hey, good luck, stay injury free. And I only had 3 of those coaches in my phone because there's so much newness when it comes to the coaching staffs in the CHL. So it does make that dark horse very hard to predict. Wyoming is obviously going to be good, and we're going to be competing with them, and we're going to see how that goes. But we certainly respect everybody because in some respects we don't know what to expect, with all this newness. And so, when I look at a team like Reading, I always have to put them up there. It's they play hard, they're tough kids, they care about winning, and it's not to say that the other programs don't, but I guess if I had to say keep a distant watch on one team, it would certainly be them at this point.
Great. So, tradition in Cincinnati, 22 years of it, the Skyline Crosstown Showdown.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You guys have played in it every year. It's funny, there's a game back at Paul Brown Stadium. I remember when you were actually an assistant coach in
Right.
Indian Hill before you went to Madeira.
Exactly.
And my nephew was a senior playing for Indian Hill. We actually got to play at Paul Brown
Yeah,
Stadium.
that was a
And
neat
I think that
experience.
was one of the last years that any high school team
Yes.
played down there.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're having a game down there this year, actually this week on Friday night. So you see Marymount in the showdown this year. Again, Marymount's kind of one of those teams that's hard to figure out what they're going to be like, and they've not had a strong youth program, which hasn't given them a strong middle school program, but new coaching.
Yeah, it's one thing about scrimmages that I know about Coach Cummins over there at Marymount is, he uses scrimmages as an utter evaluative tool. you know. So he's going to keep his cards close to the vest when it comes to scrimmages. And so while frankly, things didn't look all that great against New Richmond last Friday, I don't think that's the same Marymount team we're going to see in September. And I will tell you, I don't know what goes on. It's almost like a little bit of a curse, and I say that jokingly, but gosh, we go down there and we seem to have a little bit of trouble, you know.
I think every Indian Hill team does, regardless of the sport.
Right, and the games are oftentimes closer than they need to be. And it's sort of hard to explain. I don't, you'll look at us versus them on paper, and this is true of years past, and maybe true this year, I don't know. And then you think, okay, well, this should be a game where, we're really going to have to fall apart in order not to be successful. But then we go down there and something just happens. I don't know. So I'm always wary of that one.
I'm hoping we have an opportunity later in the season to have another conversation, but obviously I always call it the big game. It's always the last game of the season.
Right.
The good news is that game's at home this year.
Right. And look, like I said earlier, you respect every opponent that you play. But there's no secret about it. If we can beat Wyoming, the chances are we can beat anybody on our 10-game schedule. Our kids know that. And so it's not as if we overlook anybody. Trust me, we don't allow our kids to get in that mode. But in the back of our minds, we know what we want to accomplish and what we want to happen when we walk down onto that field week 10 and play Wyoming.
Yeah, and I think the key to this, and the reason I bring up all these games, is one thing that Indian Hill could use some support is those stands being filled with not only students, alumni, but parents.
And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. When you look at programs that play and compete at a state championship level, particularly smaller schools, it makes a difference. It takes more than just a coaching staff and some football players to take the next step. It takes a committed community, a community that cares. And the more people that we see in those stands, the more energy we gain from it.
Folks, I'm Rob Young with Indian Hill Television Sports Network with Coach Tony Arcuri and the Indian Hill Braves football for the 2018 season. We'll see you in a few minutes for the kickoff of the first game of the season, Indian Hill Braves versus New Richmond.
To historic Tomahawk Stadium. I'm Jake Summerall, and joining with me is Brian Shaw. Thanks for joining us in tonight's matchup where we have the New Richmond Lions facing off against the Indian Hill Braves.
In all of high school, and here come the Braves!
Jake, here come the Braves, and great matchup tonight. The 8th consecutive year started in 2011. These two teams kick off the season. The Braves have won 5 of the first 7. And these are two teams that have made the playoffs 3 consecutive years, so should be a good matchup for the opening week. Give both teams a sense of where they are.
9 months since the last snap. How excited are you for this play?
We couldn't be any more excited. We've been waiting for months. We've been training for months, and tonight
I think we're going to take a break right now for the national anthem.
Thank you, Dave and Coach Arcuri. Youth football, thank you very much. Good luck for the season and clear the field. The Indian Hill marching band is making its way onto the field. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a country like no other. We live in a country like no other. We ask everyone to stand and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem by the Indian Hill Marching Band. Thank you. Let's play some football.
Well, Jake, this time of year, every time we start a new season, I like to say Happy New Year. You know, when you think in terms of, I guess the new routine that you're in and things changing in your life. Obviously, high school football for all these families and for the grandparents and aunts and uncles and everybody else watching out there. This is the start of a new routine. Friday nights, football in Ohio High School Athletic Association, and a great way to get it started, as we mentioned, with the New Richmond Lions coming back to Indian Hill to face the Braves.
And last year, the New Richmond Lions finished with the record of 9-3, only losing to some, to of course us in the first game last season, and they also lost to Clinton Massey, who another Division IV threat who we lost to in 2015, pretty bad. So they lost to some pretty reputable teams.
We can tell you all about Clinton Massey, right? Having faced them, as you mentioned, in 2015. That was a game that was not what I think people thought it would be going in. Clinton Massey, a very physical team. I think a lot of people expected that to be kind of a grinded-out affair. Indian Hill and Clinton Massey over at Princeton High School ran up and down the field. Last one with the ball won, and I think it was somewhere 40-34, something like that, a complete shootout. So the Braves look to get it started, and no one better than their fantastic kicker,
Luke the Leg Lundberg.
Luke Lundberg. Last year had probably the greatest season in the history of Indian Hill High School from a kicking perspective. 8 of 11 on the field goals, but an astonishing 49 of 49. If you ever watch college football on a Saturday, you know that it's not a given. And now on Sundays, moving it back, it's not a given there either. Luke Lundberg made it a given for Indian Hill, and that was the difference in a few games.
Leg Lundberg's kickoff is up. And it'll be your turn for a touchback.
Nice there, too. Gives his team an opportunity not to have to defend on the kick return.
Lions will start row 20, first and 10.
Last year, looking at New Richmond, 75% of the time they ran the ball, and about 70% of the time the play centered around one Josh Anderson, the quarterback. Josh Anderson, at his place last year, got knocked all over the field by Mick Oakes and Jalen Thornton and the rest. And if there's a tougher guy that the Braves will face all year, physically tougher, I'd like to see who it is. Josh Anderson was unbelievable last year. And, of course, the Braves are lucky to get away with a 9-point win at New Richmond.
Josh Anderson signaling for the ball, hands it off to number 22, Mitchell Williamson.
On the carry for the Lions.
Great job by the Braves. Coach Arcuri talked about it. You know, there are going to be a lot of changes this year. If you scout the Braves based on last year's film, in for a big surprise. Different team. Coach Arcuri knows you have to be able to stop the run and you have to be able to run the ball. Good start there on stopping the run by the Braves.
Anderson looking, scrambling out of the pocket, and gets tackled by number 1, Demetrius Baylor. What a tackle.
Yeah, you see a couple of things about this Braves of 2018. First, Jack Hankin doing a great job flushing Anderson out of the pocket area. And then how about the closing speed of Demetrius Baylor?
Just incredible.
Demetrius hurt 2 years ago for quite a bit of the season, missed the Alter game. He and Dan Becker being out against Alter in the playoffs, a big deal for the Braves. And then last year missing the year, so he's back, he's happy, and the Braves are happy to have him back.
Anderson in shotgun formation hands it off to Mitchell Williamson again, tries to go up the pocket, but is tackled by Tribe of Braves.
Yeah, Mitchell Williamson, fantastic player. Last year for them at running back. He's now a junior and was their top tackler a year ago, 110 tackles. So expect Williamson to wear down throughout the night. They lean on him quite a bit, and the Braves force a punt here. First series 3 and out.
And that'll bring out their Lion punting squad. Number 11, Hunter Cook, punts it up. Back is number 3, Trey Lopez running up the middle, and it will score. First drive.
Braves making it look easy so far. Of course, the history of this Lions football team would tell you to be anything but easy tonight, but the Braves off to a fantastic start. Trey Lopez in space, and once he breaks through that initial seam, very difficult to bring down the elusive Trey Lopez.
Let's take a look at that, Brian. Trey Lopez just goes right up the middle. You can see the sheer speed when he kicks it up into high gear, and he just loses all of the New Richmond defenders.
Yeah, tough play for the start.
The PAT is good. Luke DeLeg Lumberg converts on his first.
Yeah, tough play from the start with the snap and then the kick. You would think that the coverage, and it was, Jacob Duty was very close, just unable to get a hand on Trey Lopez, very elusive. But that time it took in the delay of the bad snap or the bad, the exchange there, you would think that they would have had a number of people around Trey. Richmond not able to hem him in. So let's see if Lundberg can put another one in the end zone and get the Lions back starting on their own 20. We mentioned New Richmond focusing in on a couple of guys. Josh Anderson, again, 60% of the plays last year he was involved. And Mitchell Williamson will be their top back and also was their top tackler last year. So a team that as the night wears on, this physical, deep Braves team, you would think if they can get a lead, they ought to be in good shape to hold that lead.
And the Braves will kick off again.
Of course, I'm not sure Josh Anderson gets tired. I saw that enough last year to ultimate respect for that young man. Yeah, kicks that one a little further.
And the Lions offense will start at the 20. The Braves defense makes the way out onto the field.
Love what the Braves are doing this year with regard to ball control and being a little more physical. Not something that Indian Hill can do on the average year. They just happen to have the guys on the team, the personnel, in order to run the scheme. If you like what you see this year, you may see them go back to spread. You may see some changes a year or two from now if the program changes personnel-wise. But while they've got these guys, really like the recipe, particularly with a great kicker.
We'll see Anderson dropping back, gets a lot of pressure from the Braves defense and is ultimately taken down right at the 19.
Yeah, Braves doing a great job of staying disciplined, staying in gaps and making it hard for him once he evades that initial pursuit.
We'll see if the New Richmond Lions can make an adjustment following lots of defensive pressure from the Braves. Anderson looking from his receivers out of the pocket again. Throws it, but is knocked down by number 14, Ty Thornton.
Yeah, Thornton with a nice job there. Got there at just the right time and staying close. A long kid, a guy that's got some length and athleticism. So able to make that play and close on that ball. Just a freshman starting at corner. Last year, the freshman that started for this defense out there right now, healthy, William Kleekamp.
Dropping back, gets out of the pocket, and is taken down by a tribe of Braves.
Yeah. New Richmond having a hard time establishing anything. The run, they'd love to be able to establish a run and give Josh a little bit of time, but right now it's Josh Anderson's show, and that's a lot to put on one guy with this deep Braves team.
And that'll bring up 4th down again for the Lions offense. They bring out the punting squad.
Trey Lopez to receive.
And you've got Trey Lopez again receiving.
Yeah, and again standing at midfield.
Ball come right to him. He's got a little more pressure this time. And he's clear.
Yeah, looks like
he's
we got
in the
a
clear.
penalty.
Will be just taken down right at the 30. Great position for the Braves offense.
Yeah, looks like we're going to have that one come back. Trying to see who that was. The Braves right at about the 50 with a block in the back. That was your grandson. Don't feel too bad. It's an epidemic. It's happening at every level. The NFL, I mean, how many times do you actually see a clean punt return, even in the NFL? It's
Not
just
very
hard.
often.
Guys changing position, guys running one way and going back the other. You don't, it's like in the old basketball thing. You don't know if you're fronting, if you're playing the side. Guys are sealing. It's just, it's continuous motion side to side, and it's really hard.
That'll bring the Braves right at the 41.
Well, good news on this. We get a chance to see this new Braves offense. Last year, Cole Dean had a top 5 season in the history of Braves football. You think back to the Mike Scherpenbergs and the Bo Cordells. From a yardage standpoint, he was right there.
And Dean hands it off to Baylor, and he'll be taken down.
But this year, again, given all the success that Coach Arcuri has had, the idea is to go a little further. So at the beginning of the year, if you're going to see an adjustment on one side of the ball, it's going to be this offense as they try to become something different. They've got the personnel. They certainly have the coaching staff to prepare them. But it is an adjustment, and you're going from a guy that threw the ball around quite a bit to more of a running power game.
Dean hands it off to Baylor again. He broke free, and he'll be taken down just short of the 50.
Yeah, you notice Jalen Thornton, that big body in the backfield, number 10. That is trouble. If you see Jalen Thornton leading that play and you see Demetrius Baylor, it's hard enough just with Baylor or John Mark Williams. It's the other thing. Braves are very deep. Move Baylor, move Williams in. So Braves have a lot going there. As the season goes on, I think this offense will just continue to get better and better and better.
Dean looks for a 4. Mark Bennett, and there's a flag on the play.
Mark Bennett takes it across the 50, but there's a flag.
Jalen Thornton wondering what the call was. Looks like a holding call on the Braves.
I think if you looked last year at a number of the receivers who were fortunate enough to get into the end zone on a screen pass or a little bubble screen, Jalen Thornton's ability to get out and block in space, for a guy his size to be able to actually square up and get contact with a moving target, he's tremendous. So I like what the Braves are doing here with personnel. John Mark Williams looks like he'll be in the backfield. Braves rotating those backs, always fresh, and that's the difference, you know. If New Richmond has Josh Anderson and Mitchell Williamson continuously running the football with no help, no rest, that's a tough thing for them. Braves fortunate to have multiple players in that backfield.
We'll see Dean in an I formation look to scramble right immediately, but gets taken down at the 39.
Yeah, back to Cole Dean last year, so they are a completely different situation last year with the spread and Cole Dean throwing it around. People think in terms of what that offense looked like and that it might not have been balanced. They actually threw it 52% of the time and ran it 48%. Doesn't get much more balance than that, but I think what you'll probably see is the Braves this year maybe 60-40 to the run, 65-35, something like that.
We'll see Logan Person back receiving.
Good snap.
And number 7, Jack McDonough, taken down, and that'll bring out New Richmond offense.
Yeah, terrific job by McDonough. Making that catch on the run, getting possession, and not letting that ball bounce 20 yards, which is probably what would have happened if he didn't pick it up. Great play. Takes a lot of confidence and toughness to make that play.
Visit CHLSports.com for review and standings, scores, and stats for all the CHL
So Braves go out on their first offensive possession. But again, this is making an adjustment, not with just the idea of week 1, but week 11 and week 12 and hopefully beyond.
And Anderson signals in motion, fakes, but is tackled right at the line of scrimmage, and the ball is down. And the Braves...
Yeah, I think they're going to say his forward momentum was stopped. But if you're New Richmond right now, you don't like what you're seeing. Your quarterback taking a lot of hits, and
Yeah, and the Lions will still contain the ball.
yeah, they stood him up. We had a whistle, and then I think Joe Oakes might have pulled that out.
We'll see Anderson again look to force a pass, almost intercepted by number 9, Alex Lindbergh.
Yeah, Lindbergh, the one guy that you think about last year playing the wide receiver position and the corner position, did a fantastic job. And he's back. That secondary decimated, lost everybody else, really. But he was a mainstay back there, played very, very well last year. So he's a leader on that defensive secondary.
We'll see if the Lions will make an adjustment following lots of defensive pressure. Anderson drops back again, following pressure, almost out of the pocket, but finds number 24, Randy Hammonds.
Yeah, big completion on third down, and if you're the Lions, you've been waiting for something like that. Move the chains, keep your quarterback off the ground, and the Lions will hurry up. Chains getting set, they'll delay them a little bit, but they'll be ready to go at the start. Yeah, tough sledding there for the Lions running the ball, but they got to do it. They've got to do it. They got to establish that in order to be effective in other areas.
Second down.
I'll bring up second down for the Lions.
Second down and 10.
Boy, this Indian Hill line with Oakes and Hankin and Thornton, very good.
Anderson's in the pocket again, receiving lots of pressure, almost taken down, but throws it out of bounds. And Jalen Thornton shows how fast he can get past those defensive linemen, and he almost got him.
Yeah, that's why he's a Big 12 player to be at West Virginia. He's a unique skill set there for a guy that size to be able to run and be under control. And how about Josh Anderson? You know, some of this, I think we just kind of see him run to the sideline and get rid of the ball and think, well, that's not a big deal. He is an incredible athlete to be able to get to the positions he does on the field. just needs some guys to shake open for him when he's scrambling.
You see Anderson dropping back, receiving more pressure again from Jalen Thornton, and it has forced Anderson to throw it out of bounds again, forcing a fourth down.
You got to give him credit also for not turning the ball over. I mean, he is literally running for his life seemingly every play. And eventually, if he's running out in space and he cuts it upfield, this is a guy that once he gets going can make plays. Let's see what New Richmond decides to do. Looks like it's going to include regular offensive formation for them to start, but what they do after that, we'll see. 4th and 10 from the Braves 45.
And we'll see if the Lions offense can. Anderson will punt. No one back to receive.
Josh Anderson on the good punt for New Richmond. Down inside.
They didn't have their formal punter out
No,
there.
but he did a heck of a job, didn't he?
Yeah.
Is there anything that kid can't do?
This year for all their support. Beacon Orthopedics.
Well, another Braves possession here. Get a chance to look at this offense. One of the things, too, I think that's enabled the Braves to get to this position, we talk about personnel like it just magically appeared, and that can happen. But Coach Arcuri and his staff have done a tremendous job making the weight room a year-round commitment so that this team can do different things like what we're seeing this year.
We'll see Dean hand it off to John Mark Williams. Tries to go up the middle, but is taken down by Mitchell Williamson.
Yeah, nice gain there. John Mark showing patience and good vision.
John Mark Williams on the carry for the Braves.
Mitchell Williamson, only 5'8".
Out to the 20. 2nd and 7.
Yeah, like they say, Jake, you can't measure his heart, can you? Yeah, 110 tackles last year. I mean, it's
impressive.
That's a lot of wear on that hat.
We'll see the New Richmond defense adjusting.
Flag down.
Yeah, looks like the Braves moved early, so they'll back up a little bit. But no, the effort in the weight room in this program, I always said when my son was playing for Coach Arcuri, the thing that I thought was most valuable as a parent was just how he teaches preparation, whether it's long-term preparation in the weight room all year round and being physically ready to play this game, or week to week when you get that packet on Sunday night and you're looking at film and you hit the practice field Monday ready to go. Really teaches these guys quite a bit that will be useful to them later.
We'll see Williams go up the left, but is taken down by Anderson again, playing both ways.
Yeah, Anderson and Williamson. That's a tall order. And they play in a good conference. New Richmond ranked 3rd in the Inquirer poll, 3rd in Division III, a division ahead of where Indian Hill is playing. So they'll be playing teams like Wilmington and Clinton Massey, a Division IV team, but a very good Division IV team.
And we'll see Baylor come in for John Mark Williams. He steps out right at the 35.
Yeah, Meach with the little spin move and exchanging the ball to the outside hand and finishing that run strong. Yeah, like I said, as good as this team is at preparing, anytime you do something that's completely different, it might take you a little bit of time in live action to optimize. But Braves look strong right now.
Drops back, looks. Number 15.
And Luke Hammond.
Yeah.
Yeah, big target out
short.
there. Hammond now at 6'4". So Cole Dean trying to throw it in the area, have his receiver make a play. And Luke Hammond's that guy, no question about it.
We'll see the Braves waiting for a play call. And Baylor in motion looking for the toss, and he will get it. Shakes the first defender, but breaks free and is brought down.
Yeah, I know the Braves only gained a couple or a few on that one, but again, another thing that people have to prepare for. It looks like the Braves have just got a lot of different options and different formations that they can do some things to get playmakers out in space.
And that'll force the third down for the Braves offense.
Meech's going to go over and talk to Brad Hamilton, one of the all-time greats on this coaching staff. Coach Arcuri's coaching staff, absolutely fantastic. You think about the experience of these guys, a number of them having been head coaches.
We'll see Dean looking for Lopez, and it just went off his fingers.
Dean's pass intended for Trey Lopez falls incomplete. Fourth down.
That'll bring up fourth down for the Braves offense as Logan Person comes out on the field.
Looks like Trey's got a little bit of a hitch in the giddy up.
Start your car shopping at Weiler.com.
Hopefully everything's okay there, just needs to get some time, which he'll do.
You know what they say, if it's not bleeding or broken, you're all right.
Is that right? Well, that's not what Terry says. Terry Connie, taking a look at him. Terry's one of the best, 30 years almost here at Indian Hill. And we overlook a lot with Terry because she's so great, like being a Browns fan.
Don't get me started on that, Brian.
Terry and her family, a little bit of celebrity status. You might have seen over the summer, Jake, there was a dog that got loose up in Cleveland that met her on the lake and jumped over a cliff, ran away from traffic, jumped over a cliff. There was a firefighter that scaled that cliff and went down and rescued that dog. Turns out, Terry Connie's brother.
Unbelievable.
How about that?
That's crazy.
Must run in the family. I know she saved my son a few times.
She tends to band-aid all the Indian Hill sports players.
It really is amazing. And you think about the boys' teams, the girls' teams, soccer one night.
She's all over the
field
place.
Hockey the next. It's crazy.
Looks like it might be Lopez's left knee that's giving him some problems. But if I've learned one thing from Trey, he's one tough cookie.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch him return punts and total disregard.
And we'll see Anderson dropping back. Just getting a lot of pressure from Jalen Thornton.
Josh Anderson sacked by Jalen
Wow.
Thornton.
Yeah, this Braves team so far is as advertised. Very physical, very athletic. I love that number for Jalen, too.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Second down.
Anderson hands it off to Mitchell Williamson again. Jacob Duty
Jacob Duty on the carry.
came in for Williamson with the carry.
38-yard line.
So that'll bring up third down.
Third and 12. Demetrius Baylor on the tackle for the Braves.
Yeah, one of the things about Indian Hills High School football field, all these teams that line up and look to the sidelines, no play clock here. So a little bit difficult for folks to know exactly where they are in that regard.
And Anderson getting lots of pressure from Baylor, and he's forced to throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, incredibly tough play. You got a right-handed quarterback rolling left and trying to throw across his body on a full sprint.
Just doesn't work for him.
It's tough.
That'll bring up fourth down for the Lions as they bring out the punting squad.
Yeah, this Braves defense has been fantastic.
To help you explore the many options available to improve your landscape. For all your landscape needs, contact Grass Tour.
And it's just what the doctor ordered, really, for this team, given that they've got a lot of youth in that secondary. It's nice to have quarterbacks on the run when you're trying to cover. Take a little pressure off and transfer it over to the quarterback. Another snap issue.
And Mark Bennett back to receive for the Braves, taking Lopez's place. Oh, and he's just brought down right at the 53.
Yeah, same issue. We're going to have that one come back. But, hey, Bennett looking a lot like Trey Lopez there. Interchangeable parts. Again, depth on the Braves showing. Lopez off to the sideline, getting a little treatment. Bennett comes in and makes a nice run. But we'll come back. One of the things I'm sure the Braves will look at tomorrow morning when they look at film. What can we do to stop hurting ourselves with regard to the return game and blocking? But again, you know, we talked about it earlier, Jake, very, very difficult.
The Braves offense will make their appearance back on the field.
Looks like Bennett's going to stay out there.
And Baylor still in for Williams.
From the 31-yard line.
So Hammond, DeGennaro, and Bennett. Baylor in the backfield with Cole Dean.
And Dean asking for the ball, hands it off to Baylor. And Anderson looking to make a tackle, but it's brought down by number 60,
Demetrius Barrow on the carry, kicks it out past the
Logan
20-yard
Logan
line.
Waters.
Yeah, one thing you're seeing with Demetrius, too, is, you know, Demetrius hadn't had a lot of carries. I remember a few years ago, Blake Hyde just had a really good feel for running the football, but you knew at some point Zarian Hunter-Cure, who's playing down at center right now, was coming. And it was just a matter of him getting the feel of it. Right now, Demetrius Baylor getting good carries, getting a good opportunity to get the feel of things. He's actually leaning forward, came out of his stance on that last play.
With the Braves leading 7-0.
And that'll bring the end of the first quarter. Braves up 7-0.
You know, speaking of guys at Indian Hill grads that are out, Reed Eichholt's playing quarterback out at Lafayette. They don't play this weekend. They start next Saturday at Sacred Heart. Dawson Eichholt's next Saturday at home for Johns Hopkins. Thursday, Zarian Hunter-Cure, as we talked about, Centerville's going to, or Center, I'm sorry, is going to host Hanover. You remember Dan Becker.
Oh, yeah.
Dan was had a little bit of injury issue and whatnot. Redshirted last year. Also gave him an opportunity to get bigger. And Youngstown State will host Butler a week from tomorrow. And then they head to Morgantown to play West Virginia. And that's a big game. But Youngstown State's got a heck of a program. Matter of fact, Jim Tressel, the college president out at Youngstown, so I suspect they've got all the things they need to be successful. Mick Oakes graduated last year, playing down at UC, number 44, playing tight end now. The Bearcats are out at UCLA a week from tomorrow, and Tennyson Holmes.
Scared to think about Oakes, in that tight end position.
How about that? Yeah, he's up to 6'4" now. He's he always could run. And Tennyson Holmes and Washington University, one of the great schools in the Midwest.
Oh, yes.
Will host Chicago, another great school. Economics freaks.
We'll see Dean hand it off to Baylor, and he almost broke free, but was taken down by Josh Anderson, the quarterback.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing. But, hey, if he's significantly better than the other guys you've got for that position, you're apt to play him. Demetrius just getting better with every rep. But coming over to take a blow, and now we get a look at John Mark Williams.
And Dean back in the shotgun formation. Sends Williams in motion. Tosses it off. Williams almost breaking free, but tackled by none other than Josh Anderson.
Yeah, and you look at Anderson get up a little slowly there.
Grabbing that knee.
Yeah.
Josh Anderson on the tackle, 2nd and 4.
Just shows how risky it is to play your quarterback both ways.
Yeah, amazing. He's a tough kid. Braves, I like the pitch game for these backs. You know, a guy like John Mark Williams or Demetrius Baylor, gives them a couple of things. Gives them a chance to pick where they're going, and it also gives them a head of steam. Very physical backs. And, you get a 10-yard collision like what we just had there, and that's something that's usually going to favor the offense. Hopefully Josh will get over there and get a blow. Give him some time.
This is a great opportunity for the Braves offense to gain some more ground here on second down.
Stay away from it.
Oh,
And we'll see Trey Lopez back in the game, and he's breaking free. One more tackle. He's almost there. Wow. Tackle at the four. That'll move those chains significantly.
yeah, so they pound you, and then they go misdirection. And, boy, that's tough. That is a tough thing to defend, especially when you got Lopez out there in space making people miss. Yeah, think about this line. Chris Hooten now at 250 pounds. Matthew Breedis at 255. You know about Joe Oakes.
John Mark Williams just short of a touchdown.
Looks like he might have
John Mark Williams on the carry for the Braves.
got in.
And it is good. That'll put the Braves at 13.
Joe Oakes going at 265. Jalen Thornton in at 245. I mean, when's the last time you saw a Braves offensive line that across the board came in around 250 on average?
That's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, part of it, good fortune that they're just got that collection of guys at the same time, but the other part, that program and the weight training that these guys do, the commitment.
Luke the leg Lundberg's kick is up and good.
Well, he's 2 for 2. Hate to think in terms of 47 to go to match last year, but we won't look at it that way. Each one is its own occurrence. We just go one at a time.
We'll see if Josh Anderson will make another appearance. Following him kind of not up to speed of where he was before earlier in the game.
Yeah, with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, I mean, we're still very early in this one. And, of course, being the first game of the season, you'd like to see all these guys limit the miles. Long season.
Next game for the Braves, they face off at CHCA and at Aiken down at Stargell Stadium.
Stargell, great environment. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, it's going to be upended and a new stadium will be built. And the FC Cincinnati soccer team will move into that area.
That's going to be quite a sight.
Yeah, but Stargell, Braves have been down there quite a bit the last few years, including a playoff game last year. Just a tremendous environment. I think the kids really like going down there and playing.
Yeah, last time the Braves went to Stargell, they beat Taft in the playoffs 22-47. There's Williamson running up the sideline.
How about that tackle?
Wow.
Yeah, Luke Lundberg apparently didn't like the fact that he didn't put that in the end zone and got physical with the return man.
You don't see that too often with Luke.
No. Gosh, one time he doesn't put it in the end zone, he has to make the tackle. Great job. I mean, he didn't just make the tackle, he depleted the guy. And I think it was Jacob Duty on the return, 5'7", 160 pounds. Luke Lundberg checking in at 5'10", 175. Pretty good sized kicker.
We'll see Anderson back on the field asking for the ball, drops back.
Like it.
but gets it to number 7. Just taken down by Lopez with a rather low hit.
Yeah, great job by Lopez to read that and react and come up and make a play. That looked like it had the potential for a lot more yardage.
Nice tackle for the Braves. 2nd and 9.
But I do like seeing them set themselves up to go against Indian Hill's aggressiveness on the line. Nice call.
And there's Williamson brought down.
Victor Williamson
That'll force a 3rd down. Tackled by Jack Hankin.
Jack Hankin on the tackle for the
So
Braves.
3rd and 7.
3rd and 7.
Much better, a lot more options here for Josh Anderson and the Lions.
Anderson looking, getting lots of pressure from Jalen Thornton, and Demetrius Baylor coming back and is brought down by Baylor. That'll force a 4th down.
Yeah, one thing about that empty backfield, nobody really to help back there, so Josh had to take off pretty quickly. And at that point, it's just pursuit of several Braves, including Demetrius Baylor. So again, we get this look from New Richmond.
It looks like Anderson might be a punter today. No one back to receive again.
Yeah, awfully close up to the line of scrimmage. Both times he's put the ball inside the 20. So give Anderson credit executing that, what they used to refer to as the pooch kick. But not from that part of the field. That's
No,
taking
not
as
at
far
all.
as you can from that part of the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to visit the concessions.
Yeah, talk about the CHL. Of course, Wyoming, a lot of folks feel the favorite. In Division 4, Clinton Massey is in the Enquirer poll number 1, Wyoming number 2. The Braves number 3. But in the state of Ohio, the AP poll, Wyoming is actually number 1.
Wow.
All of Division 4, yeah. Somehow number 2 in the region, number
And
1.
Dean hands it off to John Mark Williams.
Number 1 in the state.
John Mark Williams stood up the line of scrimmage by Pride of Lions.
That says a lot, though, for the region. I mean, a very tough Region 16. When you've got both those teams thought of so highly, and then Indian Hill right there. But truly, if you look at those two teams, what Indian Hill is doing tonight and the changes that they've made to their approach set up very nicely for those two teams, Clinton, Massey, and Wyoming.
We'll see Dean dropping back, looking for Lopez and for Lindbergh. Doesn't find anyone, but he gets Lopez again and is taken down by number 7, Jack McDonough.
Yeah, this year a little bit different scenario for Dean when he rolls out. Not starting in a big spaced out type of formation, but the other thing, with the exception of Luke Hammond, who's a big target, easy to see when he's rolling, some of the other receivers a little tougher to pick up, especially in traffic, but Trey Lopez doing a great job getting Cole Dean's attention, finding space and getting his attention for the ball.
And Williams with the carry. And that'll make it a 1st down for the Braves.
Yeah, that's one of the areas that you see this changed approach. Very good in a 3rd and short. Also good early in a series where it gives you an opportunity to set up a 2nd and 6 or a 2nd and 5 or something like that, which really opens up the playbook for the Braves.
We'll see Duke Weiler in for Williams. And Dean's pass 15. Luke Hammond is incomplete.
14 pass balls incomplete.
Second down for the
Yeah,
Braves.
it'd be interesting to see, too, what changes with regard to the routes. I think the Braves have a little more time, a little bit better pocket than they've had in years past. So it might change some of the routes, which have usually been because he's out in space, going toward the sidelines. They may have some opportunities, particularly with a big receiver like Hammond, maybe to throw the ball a little bit in the middle of the field. He's going to have the time. I know Cole is not a really tall quarterback, but big target and a great offensive line protecting him.
We'll see Dean handed off to Baylor, and he's broken free. He's gone. Touchdown, Braves. Wow.
Yeah, Demetrius Baylor showing that burst of speed, the power to get the short yardage situations, and then the speed if he breaks through to outrun the secondary. And everything going according to script for Indian Hill.
And you'll hear that touchdown bell. The Braves will bring out the kicking unit.
Got a lot of students that are going to get in really good shape tonight doing those push-ups. 21 push-ups forthcoming.
And Lundberg's kick is good.
Mitchell to Lindbergh to Luke to Lundberg.
Yeah, give credit also to the rest of the Braves that are involved in that. Alex Lindbergh last year is holder, this year is holder. A great snap. You know, when you go 49 for 49 and then this year 3 for 3, so 52 consecutive extra points. There's a lot going on there. A lot's done right. New Richmond getting pressure off the corner, off the edge, and the edge guy doing a good job of measuring that out. Great job by the Braves. And that doesn't happen by accident. You know, that's something that during the week, the Braves spending a lot of time. So talking about Region 16 and how tough that is with Clinton, Massey, and Wyoming, and, you know, Massey being ahead of Wyoming in the region, Wyoming being ahead of everybody in the state from a Region 4 perspective. Looking at where those guys are tonight, Wyoming is going to be hosting Columbus Academy. Marymount tonight. Marymount ought to have a pretty good team. They're up at Oakwood. Last several years, those two have played at the beginning of the season and just had shootouts, incredibly entertaining games. Madeira again starts the season with Norwood. They're at Norwood tonight. And Reading, really interested to see what they're like this year. Reading's one of those teams every few years.
They have little spurts of good players. And
Absolutely.
remember back in 2015, that intense game with Nick Heidel missing a field goal, and then it goes into quadruple overtime, and one of the best high school games I've ever seen.
So let's say Lundberg kicked it short just so he gets another shot. Here it comes. Here it comes.
And Lundberg again with the tackle. You called it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, one thing that he's done for the Braves, they don't defend that as much as they used to with him putting the ball in the end zone. And when they do have to defend it, there he is. But no, Reading last year, very good team. Came here and had a tough night. Braves really played well, but they were a better team. They weren't, you know, Indian Hill wasn't 40 points or whatever better than Reading last year, even though it turned out that way. But you mentioned that game back in 2015, triple overtime, 2 9-0 teams in Week 10. My son actually gets a little pitch, runs to the corner, has to go out and play defense in overtime.
Oh, I remember that.
They win, and he runs back to the corner and then comes out and shakes hands. I said, what happened? He said, I was so caught up in it, I went to the corner of the end zone to throw up.
And Anderson hands it off to Mitchell again. Brought down for a gain of not much.
But you know what? You get 4 or 5 yards for what? You know, I think the most relieved guy in the stadium, Josh Anderson, saying, okay, now there's a little balance here. Plus I got somebody with me in the backfield.
And
then
we'll
he gets
see
a snap like that. Good grief.
Taken down by 21, David Ryu. The snap was just too low and wasn't expecting a snap that low.
No, had everything going for him. Nice 2nd and 6. And then the snap.
That'll be 3rd down for the Lions. And Allen
Nice time there.
throws it
Receiver fell
incomplete
down.
again. Pressured by Jalen Thornton,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah, like the fact that he stood tall in the pocket, had a little time, receiver fell down. But looks like they might be going back to Anderson kicking it. The other thing that does, if you looked at the first 2 punts and the snap issues, putting Anderson that close to the line to kick kind of takes away the potential for the snap to be problematic and disastrous. Talked about Reading Blue Devils tonight. They go to Roger Bacon. And perhaps the most impressive next-level player I'd say the Braves saw last year, I think. Certainly Evan Prather's fantastic, and there are a lot of guys in our league, but that running back, that freshman last year from Roger Bacon, got hurt in the first half against Indian Hill. But before he got hurt, he looked terrific.
He also
Can't remember
broke
that
Roger
guy's name.
Bacon's all-time rushing record,
Is that right?
if I believe, yes.
As a freshman, yeah. Be interesting to follow him and see where he goes. Yeah, Braves had 2 games against Roger Bacon. Last year we hosted. The year before that, had to play Roger Bacon over at St. X High School. Roger Bacon had their field flood and was unavailable for 2016. So apparently everything back in order over in St. Bernard. Well, they are going to try the go with the standard formation for punt. The other games here in Cincinnati tonight, huge one over on the west side. LaSalle is at Coleraine.
And Lopez back to receive the punt. Pressure, and he loses the first 2 defenders. Getting help from Jalen Thornton on the block.
Yeah, it really is kind of a sign of greatness. I don't want to overstate it, but Trey Lopez, when he returns, he's not looking at the guy right in front of him. I mean, it's almost like that's a foregone conclusion that guy's not going to tackle him.
And it looks like Lopez is down again.
Good
with that
news is,
same knee.
looks like a cramp. He looks like he's going for the water bottle.
Yeah.
So let's hope that's a cramp. This time of year, constant battle all week with hydration. But LaSalle at Coleraine, game of the week. But some other ones that are pretty good too. Winton Woods is going to host Trotwood. Battle of phenomenal athletes in that one. And McNick tonight, Wrigley Field, I think back in 1988 or so, got its first night game. 2018, this is the time for McNick football to be played under the lights.
Oh, yeah. Great atmosphere.
Yeah, so Penn Station Field over there is going to be lit up tonight, and I'm sure they'll have a packed house for that.
And also, another game, Lakota East playing Xavier down at Paul Brown.
Okay, excellent. Glad to see we're getting more than 10 uses a year out of that place. Yeah. I say we have games every week. Book club meetings, everything we can do. Good grief. Yeah, last night, Alter, I believe, has moved up to Division III. But,
Where they belong.
Yeah, Alter last night got beat by Fairmont. And Connor Basilak, a kid that played basketball with my son in the summer for a year, is headed to Missouri. Tough night last night against Fairmont Big School.
And we'll see Williams battling almost with the loss of yards. He'll go right back where they started.
Tell you what, John Mark Williams refusing to go down almost drew a personal foul from one of the New Richmond defenders. Got a little frustrated that he wouldn't go down, and looked like might have gotten some of that face mask, but no call. That's fine.
We'll still see Lopez stretching out.
Great strength by John Mark. Terrific wrestler for the Indian Hill Braves.
We'll see Bennett in motion. As Dean looks.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh, yes, he's got him. Number 9, Alex Lindbergh with the touchdown. What a great pass.
Yeah, last year we talked about the Braves running it 48% of the time, so you'd think you had some balance. But the way that you run it, this is a team that's been sucking everybody up into the line because of how physical they are and how hard these backs are to get to the ground. So when that play action happens and you have a chance to throw down the field, that's going to be available to the Braves. Really set up by the great job these backs and that line have done. And good wheels by Lindbergh to get behind the defender, and a great delivery by Cole Dean.
We'll see the IH students getting more push-ups following that touchdown.
I think Cole Dean is going to love his role and what's going on this year.
And Lundberg converts again, 28-0.
Yeah, 4 straight for Lundberg, 53 overall back to last year. But, you know, it takes a special guy in Cole Dean. You know, you have a year like you had last year. Like we said, top 5 year in yardage that you threw for in school history. You know, a guy that played really well, first team All-CHL, which is a heck of an accomplishment. And more balance this year. And I think for him, when they get into these hotly contested games, particularly in the playoffs, to not feel like you've got quite as much on your shoulders, I think it just makes everybody better. So assuming the Braves continue to run the ball and continue to get better, and I'm sure they will, it's going to open up some things off that run. Last year I really felt like they threw the ball to set up the run. This year I feel like they're running the ball to set up the pass.
We'll see Luke Lundberg setting up. We'll see if the Lions can get something started. Only 3 minutes left in the second.
See if Luke puts this in the end zone or decides to go out and make another tackle. Oh, good grief.
Barely went in the end zone. Luke Lundberg won't have to get his hands dirty on that play.
Yeah. Anxious time for the coaching staff over in Richmond, watching guys look at that ball at the goal line. You know, as much as we talk about Coach Arcuri, and rightfully so, Arcuri, 5th season, just starting. In his first 4 seasons, a 34-10 record, 3 playoff appearances, and 77% winning percentage, which is the best in school history. He's 3rd in school history behind Joe Clark and Kevin Seipel with wins. He's already 3rd, but and a ways to go to catch those guys. But the best winning percentage of anybody. On the other side, though, Patrick Burke at New Richmond, the last 4 years, the same stretch of time, 33-12. But of those 12 losses in the last 4 years, 4 of them have been to your Braves.
And we'll see Anderson taking it right up the middle, but taken down by Jalen Thornton for a loss of 2.
Yeah, 3 minutes right now. New Richmond, you'd like to get into that locker room. Nothing else bad happening. to be honest with you, given where they are on the field, inside their 15. Get in that locker room and talk about it. And whereas this is a team that was up on the line ready to go earlier in the game, you're seeing a different approach right now as we're winding it down. Indian Hill, seeing that's going to call a timeout. So Indian Hill wants the ball back. And in all honesty, if there's a punt and Trey Lopez is standing at the 40 or the 50, you got a chance to put more points on the board, especially with the kicker. So big 3rd and 8, whereas I think Richmond probably would have been happy to run a little more clock and get the punt away and cover, hopefully. Right now, they may end up going for it, and if they try something risky, that sets up a turnover opportunity for the Braves. Most important, though, for the Braves right now, just hold on this 3rd down and see what happens from there. Yeah, talk about those Braves coaches, and the experience of these guys. Really, really amazing. Bob Odom, in his years at Princeton High School. Paul Jenny, I don't think anybody, we talked about Madeira going and playing at Norwood tonight. I don't think anybody could have done a better job at Norwood. Shocked, I think, everybody when Paul Jenny became available. And thrilled to have him here. Larry Eli, the old Chicago Bear and Iowa Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite.
And we'll see Anderson looking deep.
And how about
number
that?
7, Jack McDonough. Again, chasing down by Alex Lindbergh.
I tell you what, that is a big-time play. Completely changes the entire scope of what we were dealing with here a minute ago. New Richmond happy to run the clock. Indian Hill calls a timeout. New Richmond says, you know what? We might need to make a play here just to get a first down at least. And huge play.
New Richmond looking to gain some ground on the scoreboard.
Be a whole different halftime if they can punch it in.
Looks like Anderson's going to try to run it in.
Yeah,
And he'll
stepped
just step. He'll stepped out.
But you kind of get the sense that if you're New Richmond right now, you want the ball in the hands of your best player. You want to punch this thing in. And if it takes you a little time to do it, so be it.
Still 2 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock right before halftime.
Yeah, Matt Walton back again. Terrific young coach. And John Masali. How about John Masali? Head coach over at Madeira, as was Tony Arcuri. A lot of experience on this staff.
You see Anderson trying to run it right through the middle. And it's good.
How about that?
Lions punch up 6 on the scoreboard.
I mean, he had a Big 12 defensive lineman break through, make him change direction, and had a MAC offensive lineman hanging on him as he got into the end zone. The best 2 defenders Indian Hill has to offer. Most physical kids, and Josh Anderson, how about that?
The Braves take another timeout.
Yeah, I think the formation might have caused the timeout there. But yeah, that's a big change, big change for this team. Now, according to, if New Richmond's able to then get this extra point and get off the field without anything else happening.
Next week for New Richmond, they face off against Taylor at Taylor, and then they play Monroe at home.
Yeah, Taylor's another team should be pretty good. Number 9 ranked team in Division 4. And Braves will be interested to watch the tape of that one early in the season, getting an opportunity to say, how did we do against New Richmond? How did Taylor do against New Richmond?
Indian Hill plays Taylor further down in their schedule at home. Last year, Indian Hill beat Taylor 49-0.
You know what? For all the people talk about Taylor being as far away as it is and all that.
I want a loose snap.
How about this? Dwight Clark.
Wow.
Can't make the play.
Just short.
The facilities out there at Taylor now are unbelievable. I think kids like playing on that
Yeah,
field.
they're pretty nice.
Yeah.
They had the Saints' old football
How about
football
that?
field.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Make your quarterback throw the ball like Drew Brees. Spin it. Well, that's a little bit of a downer for New Richmond to finish that way, but
Yeah, just short of
but nonetheless,
extra
when you
point.
think about where we were with 2 minutes and 44 seconds, they'll take it.
Looks like the New Richmond kicking squad's coming back out.
See what happened here. Just another low snap. Yeah. Each team's going to have some things to look at tomorrow and things to work on to be better next week.
And the Lions kicking off. We've got Lopez in the back. Still 2 minutes left. Pardon me, that Mark Bennett with the carry.
Yeah, Bennett doing a nice job. Well, Braves still got 2 minutes left. See what they decide to do, how aggressive they are.
And we've got Bennett in motion. Dean hands it off to Williams. And a gain of 5.
Love it. Braves have been really good on first down, getting themselves in position to use the entire playbook. Of course, this 2-minute drill, things are a little different, but nonetheless, like the fact that the Braves tonight, for the most part, have been positive yardage on first down, taking pressure off of everybody.
And Dean drops back, looking for Bennett, who's open. Doesn't like it, throws it to Bennett again. Right at the 50.
Great job to hang on to the ball. Yeah, Mark Bennett showing a lot of toughness right there. And great job by Dean. It's kind of what we saw of him last year, moving around in space, making good throws on the run. Nice job by Cole Dean.
Bennett wasn't open on that first look. Then on a second look, he made himself open, executed the catch.
Braves have answered the question about how aggressive they'd be, too.
And there's Charlie DeGennaro, knocked out of bounds by Anderson.
And we're going to get a little bit closer. 15-yard penalty coming up. Charlie doing a nice job getting out of bounds, being physical. And just a little bit of a late hit. And the Braves are going to have a little bit less field to work with here with just over a minute left in the first half. Charlie, a good-looking sophomore. Love the way he finished that run out of bounds.
We'll see the Braves gain some more ground. 1st and 10. And we've got a flag.
Yep. A little bit of youth here.
And it will indeed be a false start. And we'll see Baylor back in for Williams. And Baylor, to his right, gets tackled for a loss of yards.
It's interesting. You don't often see a team when they are 5 yards further, when they go from a 1st and 10 to a 1st and 15, substitute for a running play. Very interesting. That's not a second guess. It's just an observation. Looked like that previous formation, Jalen Thornton actually out off the line of scrimmage to run a route, and then they had the false start.
We'll see the Braves use another timeout. 51 seconds left in the second.
A lot of time, and, you know, as much as the Braves would love to punch one in here and get that touchdown back, the other thing that'd be interesting to see is where are we with our kicking game? We know Luke Lundberg is terrific, but, again, a lot more to it than just the kicker alone. And when you got to kick it from a distance, that's the kind of thing you'd like to know what you got before you need it. And they may not need it tonight, but they will at some point. So important not to turn the ball over here. If we can get it in, great. If not, let's see what we got from a kicking game.
And we'll see both teams take the field. Second and 13 for the Braves. And Bennett in motion. Dean looking for Bennett. Oh, just short. And Anderson almost caught that right off of Bennett's hands.
Cole Dean doing a fantastic job sprinting to the spot where he knew he wanted to let go of the ball, and the footwork on that. You know, we've seen Anderson when he's sprinting to the sideline and hot pursuit is with him. Hard to get your feet right. In that case, Cole Dean got his feet perfectly situated and threw a strike right at Mark Bennett. A little bit of a Brett Favre right there. Check Mark Bennett's fingers. There might be some damage.
And that'll be 3rd and 13.
That had some heat on it.
We'll see Jalen in motion. Jalen Thornton in motion, looks for Williams. Almost gets a hand on it. And just brought down just short.
Love it.
Of that first down.
Yeah, a couple times the Braves tonight with the kind of the bootleg action, misdirection, and love that. I think that's a play that they'd like to see result in a score, obviously. But love the idea. And you know what? They'll probably figure out how to make that into a score here in another couple of weeks. Now here's what we talked about. Got a 38-yard attempt.
If anyone can do it, Luke the Leg Lundberg can. It's up. And it's good, right at the buzzer.
Well, Jake, when you think back to the first half and all the things the Braves did well, they run the ball, they stop the run. It's exactly what they set out to do. They get some guys involved, some playmakers. Demetrius has a good first half. Cole Dean has a good first half. John Mark. And then they get to kicking, and they get a 38-yard field goal, and they know they can execute that. That is a huge thing.
And at the end of the first half, Braves up 31-6.
Jake, I think we're going to step away, and we'll be back for the second half.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the new Richmond Marching Band. gentlemen, the New Richmond Marching Band. And now, please welcome to the field your 2018 Braves Marching Band, under the direction of Drum Major Gabrielle Geyer. The Braves Marching Band will be performing their program Stained Glass, featuring some of classical music's greatest composers, including Bach, Mozart, and Verdi. Drum Major, is your band ready? Braves Marching Band, you may take the field in exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Braves Marching Band, under the direction of Drum Major Gabrielle Guy.
Yes, sir. That's sir. Everybody come out, go leave ahead. Right about here. Julie, you can let him out of the locker
And welcome back to Tomahawk Stadium. And welcome back to Tomahawk Stadium, where the Braves are up 31-6. And in the first half, we saw the Braves just dominating on offense and on defense, just showing how they can push the ball down the field and ultimately score, and to show how dangerous their defense is. And leading the defense is Jalen Thornton. He's been all over the place, providing lots of pressure to the New Richmond quarterback, Josh Anderson. So we'll see how New Richmond and if the Braves decide to kick it up a notch here in this second half. And welcome back to Tomahawk Stadium, where the Indian Hill Braves up 31-6, following a dominant first half, where the Braves just thrived on both sides of the field, on offense and on defense. And on the defensive side, led by Jalen Thornton, providing lots of pressure to the New Richmond quarterback, Josh Anderson, who has just been struggling this whole game, even playing both sides and even punting.
It's, I guess, a striking difference between the teams. Just how much help Cole Dean has, how much help each of these guys has around them to make the load a little lighter. The old saying, many a little makes a mickle. I mean, that's this team. Everybody doing just a little bit, doing their job, and that's what football's all about. Hopefully, in this second half, the Braves will continue to establish a few things. I'm sure they looked at the half and said there are a few things they'd like to do better and work on, but got a nice lead in the second half opportunity to really get better as a football team.
Not only that, in the first half, we just saw how much pressure Jalen Thornton's been giving this New Richmond offense. A lot.
Yeah, some really unique athletes for Indian Hill. You look at Jalen, Joe, Demetrius, John Mark. I mean, there's some guys out there that of a physical nature. We've had a lot of guys that can run and a lot of guys that are athletic, but these guys at their size, amazing.
And Mark Bennett in. Demetrius Baylor back to receive for the Braves.
Jake, like anything else, it just makes everybody around those guys better when their role is a little more digestible.
And we'll see Bennett receiving. And he'll be brought down with a hard hit. Wow.
Kind of surprised Braves did not get the penalty call there.
Yeah, it was a rather late hit.
Yeah, well, two things. Looked like he was out, and two, looked like he got hit right under the chin.
Tackled by number 2, Luke Little.
Best news is that Mark Bennett is up.
Great start from the 42-yard line.
You could hear that from up here. Wow.
Yeah, that was a heck of a hit.
We'll see Bennett back on the field after that rough hit.
Yeah, one thing, finish that. Don't take it for granted that you're not going to get popped.
And Dean hands it off to Williams. And with a gain of 5, that'll be second down.
John Mark using that balance as a wrestler to keep his feet. New Richmond making an attempt to strip the ball and got him off balance a little bit there, but very athletic to be able to square his shoulders and get up the field.
And we'll see Baylor come in for Williams.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is there, but Terry's on it.
And Dean hands it off to Bennett.
Yeah, it's a cramp. In case you're wondering, John Mark Williams went out with a cramp.
And a gain of 3, third down.
Yeah, these next few weeks, that's going to be the challenge for everybody out on the field is trying to stay hydrated. Even if you do a great job, no guarantee that you're not going to suffer from the cramps. Particularly guys that go both ways.
Yeah, you can really see it when they come out, just getting all the water they can get, and then they have to go back out. And Dean hands it off to Baylor, just short of the first down.
Yeah, give the Lions credit. Doing a nice job staying in this game with effort. And that's a physical team up front, too, on defense.
And we'll see Logan Person, Braves punter, come on out on the field.
Logan Person's been like the Maytag repairman tonight. Nice kick.
And back to receive for the Lions is Jack McDonough again, pushing up the field. Tackled by the punter, Logan Person.
Yeah, you look at this tonight, I think one of the things the Braves will be focused on tomorrow morning, and when I say tomorrow morning, I really mean tomorrow morning, is special teams. One of the amazing things about this coaching staff is this game will probably get over 9:30, 10 o'clock. Tomorrow when the kids come in at 9, they will have broken down film and have built a message about what they've done well, what they can do better. Really sets them up. They'll manage that marry that, tie it up to next week's opponent, CHCA, and really get after it Monday, hitting the ground running.
Last year, the Braves played CHCA here at Tomahawk, and they fell to them 14-21, which was the rough game. It was rainy. It was the second game of the season, a little rusty.
Yeah.
Just didn't polish things up.
Tough game, and you think about that game and how the rain affected both sides. Of course, both have to play, but you take Danny Vanatsky and the way he spins the ball at that size, Nicole Dean throwing the ball around in the rain, and that game, as much as any other, Jake, could be one where you look and you say that might have been the genesis of Indian Hill saying, hey, we can't just throw the ball, we gotta mix it up. And again, the balance was there, but the last year, the pass setting up the run instead of vice versa.
We'll see Anderson hand it off to 22. Williamson with a gain of about 3.
Yeah, but special teams tonight on coverage, both kick and punt now. Braves have had some issues.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So great chance to get better, but that's how you want to learn those lessons when you're winning by 25.
Now we'll see Anderson looking rather deep. Throw is incomplete, and a flag will be thrown. Yeah, most likely on number 9, Alex Lindbergh.
Good job by the referee. I know that might seem late, but he got a good look at it, assessed what he was looking at, and then threw the flag. He was in great position. So the Lions come out firing. Good stop, get the ball back, excellent punt return, and now moving the ball in position to tighten this up.
And that'll be 1st and 10 for the Lions as they try to gain some ground. And Anderson drops back, gets pressure, number 59, Jack Hankin.
Yeah, good finish there, too, by William Kleekamp. Haven't called his name a ton tonight, but William Kleekamp, one of those players, playing with other players that are really good like he is. I mean, he's a really good player in his own right.
Oh, yeah.
Just makes him even better. Had a great freshman season, injured, but came back, got injured again, looks healthy, and looks great out there.
And Anderson. Back and just slips right through number 7's fingers.
Josh Anderson pass.
Jack McDonough.
Yeah, next play mentality. I like every time I see a receiver drop a ball like that. We saw it earlier. Coldine threw a strike and it got dropped. I always like to look at the quarterback. Josh Anderson showing us absolutely nothing. Receiver drops the ball, really could have used that one. Now puts him in a 3rd and long. 3rd and long means that Anderson's potentially going to get hit, but you'd never know it. Cool customer.
He's looking to pass again, getting some pressure. Will be taken down, almost taken down by Demetrius Baylor, but is finished by Joe Oakes.
Yeah, just too many Braves. You know, too many guys in the area. Josh Anderson, a heck of an athlete, but it's just too much to overcome. So New Richmond, this is one that, that they're actually going to run a play and try to get this thing inched closer. Down 25, about 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Anderson drops back, almost picked off by Alex Lindbergh. Great play.
Yeah, terrific play, and Lindbergh at that point leaving his feet. You don't want to catch that ball. Did the exact right thing by knocking it down. And you don't want that to be tipped up in the air for a touchdown. You don't want to catch it and be pinned inside your 10. Perfect play and an unselfish play by Lindbergh. Yeah, Lindbergh really, I think, the leader in this secondary. Experience and also the way he goes about things.
And Baylor starting to run up the middle, but is taken down by nonetheless the quarterback. Josh Anderson has been all over the field.
Yeah, I think we just got to start referring to Josh Anderson as a football player. He's just a football player. Nice for the Braves now with the lead. And, of course, they're thinking a lot of game left and just play the game. But nonetheless, nice to have a running game. Nice to be able to run the football and be physical, long drives, run the ball,
got an
maintain possession.
Injured line on the field. Can't quite make out who that is.
Yeah, looks like the guys on the monitor have it as Mitchell Williamson. And another two-way player.
Another valuable asset for the Lions.
Yep.
Looks like he'll hobble off.
Yeah, these guys, they can drink all the Pedialyte and Gatorade and pickle juice and everything else at Old Wives' Tales, good things, bad things, whatever. But, at some point, it just gets to be a little too much with this heat. Although, we do have pretty good conditions for July. I'm going to guess it's probably in the 70s, low to mid 70s.
Great football weather.
Very little
not too
humidity.
Much humidity. Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's entirely likely in the next 3 weeks or so we could have hotter, more humid conditions than what we have tonight.
We'll see Baylor in the backfield. Dean hands it off to Baylor. Gets a little room. And he's right off the sideline, but almost loses the ball inside the playing field, but is taken down by Josh Anderson.
Yeah, we talk about these two-way guys, and one guy we've talked about a lot for New Richmond tonight, Jacob Duty. Jacob Duty is in his spot trying to make a play. Jalen Thornton, the lead blocker, absolutely swallowed him up. And
allowed him to get some extra yards.
That's tough. Tough duty.
1st and 10 for the Braves.
You just don't see that. You just don't see guys like that that move like that, lead blocking.
And Bennett in motion. Dean looking, scrambles, and he gets it right to Bennett for the 1st down.
What a great job by Cole
Barely
Dean.
got 2 feet inside.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Dean being able to use position to buy time. Moving up the field and then back out in order to create time and space to deliver that ball. A good grab on the sideline as well.
And we'll see John Mark Williams come back out what looks to be another cramp problem, so we'll see Baylor come back in.
Yeah, once it starts, it's really hard to stop. Very frustrating for John Mark, I'm sure, but it's going to flare up, that's for sure. It'll be a tough second half for some of these guys.
And we'll see Dean flick it to Baylor. With a gain about 5.
Yeah, really like that pitch. Braves have done it a lot tonight. It's something that they haven't done recently, and it really gives these athletic, physical backs some daylight and a little bit of space to work with and an ability to really put their foot in the ground and go downhill and fall forward. And that's going to get better and better as the season goes on. John Mark, I want to say, had 20, 25 carries last year. Demetrius, none. So, these are guys that are just going to get the feel of things, and they need work. Braves with 6:20 left in the 3rd quarter and a 25-point lead. They have a chance to give them a lot of work tonight.
And we'll see Lopez in motion. Dean looking long for Lopez, and right through his fingers.
Yeah, Cole Dean with an embarrassment of riches right there. Lopez, and trying to think of who that was who was running up the seam. 2 guys open on that play. Good time from the line, and I think that was Hammond maybe running down the middle of the field. But great sight. I know they didn't connect, but boy, I tell you what, a lot of other things going on in that play. Very good for the Braves. Because Cole will make that connection.
And 3rd and 7 for the Braves. Dean in shotgun formation with Baylor on his left. Lopez in motion.
Oh, boy.
Oh, and a drop pass.
Yeah.
Lopez wasn't really ready for that one.
I tell you, you see a kid running and looking at the ball, and you see a corner closing or a safety or whatever that was closing. Oh, good grief.
We'll see Logan Person making another appearance.
Actually, they got that 24 playing defensive end.
Oh, yeah. Back to receive. Jack McDonough again. Taken down immediately, but a flag has been thrown. Great tackle by Charlie DeGennaro.
Yeah, great job. Really impressed with these punt returners on both sides. We've seen Bennett and Lopez on the Indian Hill side, and McDonough, and it's all these guys doing a great job fielding the ball, keeping the ball off the ground, and getting field position for their teams. Unfortunately for New Richmond, going to give some of it up with another penalty.
Still got 5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Some room for both teams to to increase their lead.
Sure.
Or gain some ground if you're in New Richmond.
Yeah, tough place to start, though. Limits the playbook, tightens the guys up a little bit. If they make a mistake, it could turn into 6. Tough place to start. But always nice to have the ball, and they've done a really good job so far keeping Indian Hill, the offense, off the field.
We'll see Anderson hand it off to none other than number 22, but brought down. Number 45, Cole Warbridge.
Yeah, nice job there for New Richmond to get out from under their own goalpost.
Charlie DeChanero on the tackle for the Braves.
See if we can get some scores from around town.
And we'll see Anderson take it off into the pocket himself, but runs into a tribe of Braves, and they'll be brought down.
Josh Anderson on the keeper. David Ryu and Demetrius Baylor on the tackle for the Braves.
Yeah, Anderson actually looks like he's getting stronger as the game goes on, unbelievably. But just outmanned up front. New Richmond unable to move those Indian Hill linemen. Great job, Hankin, Thornton.
We'll see Jacob Duty in motion. Anderson looking long, covered by Lopez, and he will just overthrown for Lopez's range.
Josh Anderson's pass down the right side falls incomplete. Covered by Trey Lopez.
David Ryu is another one tonight. Great pressure there. He's done a great job for that Braves line.
This Brave defense this year has such a deep roster, and just guys that can switch in and out just can make them even more of a dangerous threat when they're interchanging players, which is just great.
Yeah, and that inexperienced, relatively inexperienced secondary has been good too. But that front seven, oh my goodness.
And Anderson drops back, gets lots of pressure from Jalen Thornton, but can't finish it.
Boy.
And a late hit from Demetrius Baylor.
Yeah, looking at the umpire there, trailing the play, kind of gave up on that. I looked and his eyes were upfield following the action. Not supposed to be there from where he is. Supposed to stay with the play. He did not do that.
So Baylor will get away with that one.
Baylor, might have gotten away with one. That was looked like helmet to helmet there. But great pressure. Demetrius doing an excellent job making Anderson get rid of the ball before he wants to.
It looks like we'll have a timeout on the field.
Timeout, Braves on the field.
Fourth down for New Richmond. Hopefully they can get something going here.
Nobody but Jeff Weiler Automotive has 7,000 vehicles in one location. Start your car shopping.
Fortunately, we don't have Rob Young to give us these scores. We're really missing him.
Yeah, I just looked at the Cincy Preps website for the Inquirer, and true to their nature, bunch of zeros right now. Best information I got there was that the game started at 7. Thank you.
Yeah, very helpful. And it'll appear that New Richmond will indeed punt on fourth down. And Hunter Cook with the punt, very low. Didn't have that much height to it. And it didn't go very far, as he probably intended it.
Well, the Braves once again with great field position. Have to think we're going to see them run the football here.
Rolls out of bounds.
And again, the Braves have been in this position before with running backs that are getting better, that are getting the feel of their position. When they get a lead like this and they have this kind of opportunity at the field, this field position, really good opportunity for them to get better. And that's not just the backs, that's the line, that's everybody.
And And we'll see Dean in an I formation with Baylor in the backfield. Hands it off to Baylor, goes right up the middle. Looks like he'll be just short of a first down, tackled by a pack of Lions.
Yeah, and this might be a part of the game where everybody knows what's coming, but again, that's part of football. Can you execute in predictable situations? So can you run the ball when they know you're going to run the ball?
And we've got another down Lion again. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, got to be tough for all these families watching their kids play on the internet stream tonight, going down, and of course everybody concerned when that happens. But more often than not, almost exclusively tonight, it's been a matter of cramps.
The shop is open every Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So support our Braves. Wear Braves gear.
Looks like he might is able to stand up with a little support from his teammates, and that will indeed be number 22, Mitchell Williamson.
Yeah, Mitchell's had that issue the entire game, and I guess it's now at a point where unable to get off the field in his own power.
New Richmond's key player, playing both ways, is out. Not looking too good.
Well, we did get an update from Rob Young.
And the Braves will take the field. And Dean hands it off to Baylor. Runs to his left. And he shakes the defender. He's clear for the touchdown. Touchdown, Braves.
Well, with that strength and speed combination, you know it's going to happen every so often when he touches the ball. A great job by the line. A tired New Richmond team and a very good back. Another score for Demetrius Baylor. Welcome back.
And we'll see Lundberg getting ready for the PAT. And it's up, bang, good.
Yeah. Death taxes and Lundberg with the extra point. Well, we did get an update. Thank you very much. Madeira up 7-3 at Norwood, start of the third quarter. So the post-Jack Kravac, Adam Wyzork, Kyle Johnson era is underway successfully. Waynesville, a former Braves opponent in schedules past, up by 34 on Bethel Tate. Great game here. Trotwood Madison up 7-3 against Winton Woods. Winton Woods,
oh yeah,
I think top-ranked team in the Division II, ahead of LaSalle as preseason polls, which are often wrong, but nonetheless a terrific team. So a tight game there in the fourth quarter. St. X and Lakota West, 34-0 Bombers in the fourth quarter.
Wow, down to Paul Brown.
Bombers representing the CHL very well. Rob Young says Valley View is up big on Wilmington. A game that's probably of great interest.
Another
Wilmington
division, another team in Indian Hill's radar, especially in the postseason.
Yeah. And, of course, Wilmington, part of the same Buckeye Conference with New Richmond.
And back to receive for the Lions is Jacob Duty. He's got room to spare. Almost taken down. but a great tackle by number 4, Mark Bennett.
Moeller up 27 against Clarkson from Ontario, Canada. And probably the biggest game of the night, Coleraine up 23-0 on LaSalle in the fourth quarter. Elder beating Gahanna Lincoln 24-0.
Bob Summerall, AAA Tires, guarantees the best drive-away tire prices in greater Cincinnati. With 16 locations, we are right around the corner. Stop
Jake,
and go online at
as we get an advertisement for Bob Summerall,
really cares.
does he really care?
Oh, yes.
He does.
Bob Summerall really cares, Brian.
That's good to know. I always felt that he did.
I can always assure that, yes.
I felt that he did. Roger Bacon up 48-7 on Reading.
And
Goshen.
Jacob Duty getting some room to spare, but taken down by Baylor. Nice tackle, and he hobbling a little bit, but
yeah, you know, it's interesting tonight. New Richmond has done a great job of not turning the ball over, but you have to think the way this Braves team flies around as the weeks go on and everybody gets more comfortable. Making plays in the turnover category is probably going to be something that's going to develop into a strength.
Oh, wow, and a big loss of yards. Great tackle by number 21 for the Braves, David Ryu. We also have a change of personnel. Number 2, Luke Lytle in for Josh Anderson at the quarterback slot.
Goshen making a bid to spoil opening night at McNick, up 14-7 in the third quarter. All right, if you're betting on Clinton Massey and East Clinton, how many points would I have to give you, Jake, to take East Clinton?
Not many. And we'll see a long pass. Great defense by number 14.
Ty Thornton.
Ty Thornton, the freshman.
You know, in a game where not a lot going on down the field for New Richmond, easy to fall asleep, Ty Thornton doing a great job. When you're called on making plays, hey, he just did it, freshman. Yeah, Clinton Massey up by 63 on East Clinton.
Wow, that's a close game.
They could be pretty good. Kings and Lebanon in a tight one.
What's the score on that one?
17-14, Kings.
And Lytle dropping back, getting lots of pressure, but throws to 22. Mitchell Williamson again looks like he's my bad. Aaron Prescott with the catch.
Wyoming up 35 at the half.
Brings up fourth down.
That'll be fourth down for the Lions. Fourth and long. Still got 19 yards to go till that first down marker. And that'll be the end of the third quarter as the Braves are up 38-6 on the New Richmond Lions.
Yeah, Braves doing a good job of basically holding serve in the third quarter. Increased the lead by 7, but more importantly, I think, getting some guys some reps, playing a pretty clean quarter with regard to turnovers and penalties and that kind of thing. So Braves getting a lot of guys out there. Good quarter for the Braves.
And we'll see if they keep Luke Lytle at the quarterback slot for New Richmond, as Josh Anderson has seemed to be subbed out.
Yeah, Luke Lytle also a kicker and a punter.
In 2018, Indian Hill Varsity Cheerleaders.
Speaking of the support that these kids at Indian Hill get, we'd be remiss not to mention a few things that have happened recently. Jeff Zidron, who did a terrific job here for 5 years, oversaw new facilities, and athletic directors don't get credit when the trains run on time, but they should. Did a great job. My understanding is he might be doing a little contract work at Milford right now, but the new athletic director, Matt Haskamp, a guy that's been quite active down in northern Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, down at Highlands and Covington Catholic.
Yeah.
Two big powerhouse Kentucky schools.
That's right. And he's had a great experience with teaching, coaching, being an administrator. So Indian Hill in good hands. The handoff from Jeff Zidron to Matt Haskamp. And, of course, the glue behind it all, Judy Sitcherman. Her son Dan at Iowa State, Matt at Nebraska. I think the Sitchermans are happy when the kids leave the house. Dan goes 265 and Matt 310.
Wow.
That's a lot of trips to Kroger. And we don't have a weight, and we wouldn't disclose it if we did, but maybe the best athlete of the family, her daughter Megan, who's a swimmer at Tennessee. All three of them fall athletes. So if Judy's here tonight, that's terrific, but she may be on the road also a lot this fall to support the three kids. Triplets, I think.
Wow. And we've got Dean handing off to Duke Weiler, but Dean fakes it, and he's got room to spare. And that'll be first down for the Braves.
Yeah, Cole doing a nice job pulling up short there to stay in bounds, keep that clock running. The other thing I'd like to say also, Brian Walker, who had been the offensive coordinator for teams that were putting up, 400 points plus every season, did a terrific job. I know the kids love him. The coaches love him. He, deserving of congratulations, his Bethlehem Eagles down in Bardstown, Kentucky, started last week with a win. And true to form, he put 53 points up on the board in game one. But tonight at Washington County, we wish Brian Walker and his family the best.
Second down.
And following Duke Weiler's run, it's still second down. 8 to go. Cole Dean hands it back to Weiler with a gain of 4. Third down. We'll see if the Braves can capitalize.
Yeah, you think back a couple of years ago when Indian Hill had a lead like this at this point in the game. It was Reed Eicholtz keeping it, running the football. Braves with a lot of options, different guys that can get carries and really milk the clock this time of the game.
Got Dean looking at Bennett, and he's got a little room to spare. Tripped a little bit. That'll be fourth down.
Mark Bennett getting a lot of work tonight and doing a great job.
It looks like we won't be seeing any more of Lopez because he's cramping early on. Just seems to play it safe, and we'll see the Braves going on it on fourth down. Weiler on Dean's left. Dean shotgun formation. Dean drops back, looks for Luke Hammond. That'll be a first down, capitalizing on a fourth.
Great job. Nice hands there by Hammond. Big target and a good throw all the way across the field by Cole Dean. Got an update, too, with regards to Deer Park. Basketball state championship, and hey, let's just go out and roll in football, too. 29-14 over the Hughes Big Red.
Wow.
Yeah. Hughes with huge, speaking of basketball, huge news. Paul McMillan Jr., or maybe the fifth or the fourth, I don't know. Paul McMillan's son, the former player and coach at the high school level here in Cincinnati and up at Loyola. His son, everybody I think thought he was going to go to Woodward. He's going to Hughes.
Wow.
Yeah. Still going to miss those terrific guards, though. Santiago.
Oh, yeah, he's on the Puerto Rico national team, and he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And Dean in I formation. And Weiler with a gain of 4.
Nice run by Weiler there. You know, those are great little chunks of yards just to draw this down and set the Braves up for another good play call this side of the field.
My bad, it looks like we had a little change of personnel here. Ty Thornton, the freshman, in for quarterback Cole Dean, so we'll see how Ty Thornton does at the quarterback position.
Talks about that great recent rivalry between Marymount and Oakwood. Marymount up by 4 in the fourth quarter, 21-17.
And Weiler with the first down as the Braves are inching towards that touchdown.
Yeah, Charlie Lindbergh, Nathan Berger, guys up front. Talk about Thornton and Weiler in the backfield, engineering a terrific drive.
And we'll see Thornton pitch it off to Weiler again. He only gets a gain of 2.
That's what's good about when you earn the opportunity to get more guys in the game. Everybody getting experience, everybody with an opportunity to get better. And you're seeing the future of the Braves here right now.
We'll see the Braves offense get some new personnel. More of a younger kids starting to come in. And we'll see Thornton looking for Luke Hammond for the touchdown. And it's good! Great throw by Thornton.
Yeah, you know, a lot going on there. And Thornton able to do it at a speed and make a great throw to the back of the end zone. Just giving you a little sneak peek of the future right there. And you know what? The future could be next week. You just never know in this game, week to week, what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Nice to see guys ready.
Again, that depth that Indian Hill has is just fantastic. They could sub guys in and out in almost every position, which is great, and still have the same or even better talent as the starter.
Weiler on that drive doing a great job, falling forward, making great cuts, and getting the Braves in position to take some time off the clock and get another score.
And Luke Lundberg's kick is up and good. And that'll make the score 45-6 with 3:40 left in the fourth quarter.
Got an update on that Wyoming score. It's now 42-14 Cowboys over Columbus Academy. Well, this is a very impressive, this is a very...
Push-ups, no cheating. Huntington is committed to doing the right thing for his customers, colleagues, shareholders.
And the Braves kicking squad will make another appearance on the field, as usual, following
Jake,
that touchdown.
I know you're a fan of accountability, and this is the time when we have to hold those in the media accountable. I believe that this game tonight had 5 prognosticators. I can't remember who was who, so we're going to leave names out of it. However, Cincinnati Enquirer had 5 guys weigh in, and I believe 3 of them went with the Braves and 2 did not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Game 1, understandable. not a whole lot to work with as far as knowledge base, but we're learning tonight.
A little onside kick by Lundberg. And Hunter Cook with the carry.
Yeah, I think right now with the intent of that, not a possession kick, just a kick to squib that down the field to keep the Braves from having to pursue as fast or have the collisions or whatever the case. 3.5 minutes left in a 39-point game. That's one where you're going to be able to cover up on that kick a little easier. Smart play by Indian Hill. At this point, trying to get out of here with all our guys in good shape. And
it looks like Josh Anderson still stay on the sideline, as Luke Lytle will stay at the quarterback position for the remainder of the game.
Sure.
And Lytle hands it off to number 41, Gabe Shepard. That's a big fella. 5'8", 245.
Second down.
Sure hate to see that coming towards me. And we'll see Lytle drop back.
Norwood.
Looking for an open receiver. He looks deep, covered by Lindbergh, but he throws it just out of bounds.
Yeah, update on the Madeira-Norwood game. Madeira now up 23-9. Madeira with a new 24-9. They've got a new head coach over there at Madeira. So as that one winds down with 2 minutes left, 2 minutes left here also.
We'll see Lytle asking for the ball. Little low snap, but getting some pressure. He almost runs out of bounds, but he's still going. And a first down. Great tackle. Number 52, Jack Sitchell.
65 Realtors, your local source for real estate, mortgage, insurance, title, relocation, home service needs. Go to simpsyklein.com.
Yeah, thanks to Rob Young. Couple of updates, really one that's changed. Roger Bacon 54-7 now in the fourth quarter against Reading. So mixed nights for.
We'll see Lytle look. Just came off of number 24's fingers. Randy Hammonds.
Mixed night for the CHL, but Indian Hill, Wyoming, both as expected, playing well. I don't think we expected this kind of score, but did expect the Braves to play well. They've done just that. So as we head toward week 2, Braves, as you said earlier, travel to CHCA, and that should be another great
Oh, wow,
test.
we'll see number 41, Gabe Shepard, almost take it to the big house. Gabe Shepard, 5'8", 245.
Yeah, given the score, we've got a running clock, so they're going to have to line up and snap that if they want another play.
And we'll see them try to get the hurry-up offense with 5 seconds left. And it looks like they'll get it off. We'll see if they can make something out of nothing.
And they do.
But that's a touchdown. But that'll make it 12-45.
Yeah, as the teams meet at at midfield, great night for the Braves. Did what they wanted to do. They ran the football. They stopped the run primarily. That's, I think, what they were looking for tonight.
And their defense was just exceptional. I mean, pressuring the ball, making the quarterback as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And that's what ultimately led them to success in this game.
Yeah, Cole Dean did a great job managing this team and made some good throws when the time called for it. As they head out to CHCA, Jake, they get a win convincing against the team that's a Division III. Next week, just the opposite, go to a Division V, but a very good program with another resume builder opportunity next week.
And this one belongs to the Braves. Signing off here from Tomahawk Stadium, I'm Jake Summerall. Joining with me, Brian Shaw. We'll see you next time.
IHTM